you how to wash and store greens, such as leaf lettuce that I have here. I have some green leaf lettuce, but I go through a really similar process in the washing and caring for herbs video as well. So if you want to reference that, I won't repeat everything in there, but I'll make adjustments for how you would do something differently for leaf lettuce. So the first thing you want to do when you get home from the market is, if you have any lettuce in a plastic bag, take it out of the bag right away, even if you're not going to eat it that day. Leaving it in the bag with all that water clinging to it is really the kiss of death for your greens. And so I take it out of the bag, and I'm going to, you can cut off the end or you can pull the leaves off. It's really up to you. I just find it's much more efficient to cut off the end. And I don't know if you can see in there, but there's a lot of dirt and sediment usually, especially the closer this was to whoever you got it from, you know, say the farmer's market, there's probably going to be a lot more dirt and sediment. Sometimes it's a little bit cleaned up at the grocery store, but there's always dirt inside a full head of lettuce. Just no way to get it out until you clean it. So I like to use a salad spinner. You can also just fill your sink up with water to do this as well, but this device is really going to help us get the extra liquid off that will help to keep our lettuce fresh and tasty for a longer period of time. So if you want to get more greens into your diet, I'd strongly encourage you to get a salad spinner. So now I'll just take the leaves off. If any look sad or limp or have, you know, brown or bad spots, then you can discard those. Get them off. Try and keep them whole. You don't want to rip up your lettuce ahead of time. You know, if you're not going to make a salad for a day or two, then, you know, don't chop it or rip it up ahead of time. Try and keep the leaves whole. They're just going to last longer that way. The technique I'm showing you helps to preserve the length of time that this is going to stay good and be useful at home. It doesn't work as well for spring mix or, you know, the baby greens. Those, they come pre-washed and they just go bad much more quickly than this. So if you want to make sure that you're getting the most use of your food dollar, if you don't have salads every day, then getting something like a romaine lettuce, which is even more sturdy than this leaf lettuce, or a full head of lettuce like this, and then cleaning it and storing it the way I'll show you is going to get, you know, at least a good 5 days out of your lettuce. If it's leaf lettuce, you might get a couple of weeks out of romaine. Obviously the flavor starts to degrade over time, but it won't get smushy and brown and, you know, yucky like it would in the bag anywhere near as quickly going through these steps right when you get home. So I'm going to walk away. I'm going to fill this up with water so I can swish the leaves around and rinse off some of the excess dirt. I really like to use a salad spinner because it doubles as your soaking device. So if you want to do this in your sink, you need to really make sure your sink is quite clean first, and you have to use a lot more water. So I live in an area where, you know, there's on again, off again drought, so it's nice to kind of contain the amount of water that you need to use. What you want to do is get enough water to cover your greens and then kind of swish them around. You can swish them sideways if you want. The goal is just to shake off as much of that excess dirt. When you have big leaves like this with lots of crevices, after you swish it around a little bit, if you give it a few minutes to rest, then you're going to have more of that dirt falling to the bottom. So, you know, it'll be suspended in the water for a bit and then it will try to sink to the bottom. So what you can do then is, I recommend doing this in the sink. I'm just doing this here for demonstration purposes. You can lift your greens out, and then a lot of times they'll be like, here, you know, very organic. They have a little worm there. There might be some little bugs, some dirt, all that stuff. So I'm lifting this out so that I can then dump this out separately and discard it. If you leave the greens in there and then go pour it in the sink, you're just going to pour it back over, which is just going to mean that you're going to have to do this many more times than you otherwise would if you separate it and then drain it.